Today, South Africa is shutting down, with the country now declaring violence against women a national disaster.
The vast majority of things and systems that are built without women in mind whatsoever. And that's why it's so triggering to hear me and be like, y'all don't got it that tough.
Morning, a new promise to keep women safer on the road.
We're releasing design specifications for this, the first ever advanced female crash test dummy.
That is a prime example of how every man benefits from the patriarchy.
The injuries that we suffered were not unique. In fact, they're among the most common for women to suffer in car crashes.
She started a nonprofit dedicated to car safety for women, something she believed had been all but ignored.
I wasn't alive during the civil rights movement. If you thought I was, fuck you. They call me Unc, so I don't know how old y'all think I am. I'm only 43 years old. I feel like I don't look that old, but they be calling me Unc left and right. And I am Unc. I'm Unc age, and I love it. But anyways, I wasn't there for that. I didn't get to experience that, like boots on the ground. I didn't get that feeling. I wasn't there. I didn't experience it. But I'm here in 2025, and the new fight is the civil rights for women. That's the new fight. And that fight is global. It's needed, it's necessary, and it's global. And I love that women are defending themselves and, and standing up for themselves. But let me tell you this, man. One thing that it's just so triggering, and I'm not a woman, but I'm still triggered by it because it's so very dangerous and disingenuous the way that men dismiss the lived experiences of women and try to boil everything down to like a gender war, or like women are seeing ghosts where there aren't anything, there's nothing there and all of that stuff. And at every conceivable turn, men are denying that there is an actual systematic and systemic problem that exists where women are being targeted systematically. That's like, we're going to get into how women are targeted systematically and systemically. It's very, very triggering. Very triggering the way I could imagine it would be triggering, not imagine the way I'm triggered when non-Black people deny the real world lived experiences of Black people. When they try to tell me that racism doesn't exist, when they try to tell me, pull yourself up by your bootstraps or anything of the sort, I have fight or flight with that scenario. I'm either, depending on the scenario, if I have the energy or for whatever reason I care enough to engage, I'll engage and I'll fight. Like I'll fight. Or I'll flee and I'll just shut down and leave the conversation, because I know it's not incumbent upon me to teach anybody who thinks that way to not think that way. Well, I will say non-Black people wise. Black people, I feel like it is my duty to kind of talk to Black people, but it's not my duty to talk to a non-Black person about racism or how racism affects me. If you don't see it and you don't want to acknowledge it, peace out. I don't have any patience for you. And that's how I feel like women, a lot of women do that with misogyny and the patriarchy as well. They're like, I'm not gonna teach y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm with that. I talk about my lived experiences as a Black man. You can hear what I'm saying. You can listen to what I'm saying, and you can take that as a lesson. The same way I do with women. I don't go to women and ask them, teach me about how the patriarchy affects you. I just listen to what women are saying. I read about what's going on with women. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. That's wild. Right? But I have two examples right now, and these are, oh man, men don't understand how privileged we are. You don't understand how you do not have to worry about the things that women have to worry about. You just don't have to think about it. You know that everything was built for you. You know that everything was built with you in mind. Even if a woman built it. That's the crazy thing about the patriarchy that people don't understand. Women have contributed so much. But even when women build stuff and create stuff, the powers that be make sure that those things are fashioned for men. They take them and they manipulate it, or they do whatever they need to do, or the women inherently they understand that like I need to make this thing for men. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to make this like like it won't get sold, it won't get bought, it won't get, and a lot of people, and that's how it functions a lot of times. Like a lot of this stuff is just made for us. Granted, there's tons of things made for women, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying there is a shitload of things, the vast majority of things and systems that are built without women in mind whatsoever. And that's why it's so triggering to hear me and be like, y'all don't got it that tough. Buck up there, women. It's not that bad. You just got to lock in. It's, but the whole time shit like this is happening.
Today, South Africa is shutting down, with the country now declaring violence against women a national disaster. Across social media, people are changing their profile picture to purple. And finally, the country has listened. The movement is led by advocacy group Women for Change, and it's exploded online ahead of the G20 summit. Celebrities like Tyler have joined in, helping push the campaign into global feeds. And on the ground, the action is much bigger. Today, women across South Africa aren't going to work, they aren't going to school, and they aren't spending money. They're wearing black in mourning, and at midday, they lie down for 15 minutes to honor the 15 women killed every day in the country. Those lie-downs are bringing cities to a standstill, and the movement is spreading into neighboring countries too. In South Africa, a woman is killed every 2.5 hours, according to Women for Change. And in the last year alone, femicide has risen by 33.8%. Activists say the crisis is so severe, normal life should stop until the government treats it like an emergency. The government says it has already declared GBV a national crisis in 2019, but activists argue little has changed, pointing to thousands of murders, rapes, and attacks recorded just this year. Today's shutdown is their answer, a symbol of what they want the G20 to confront, and a refusal to carry on as normal in a country where many women are dying every single day.
First of all, rest in peace to all the women that lost their lives due to GBV. Globally, but specifically in South Africa right now. Man, it's really frustrating because I have these discussions all the time and men always talk about it goes both ways and all that stuff. And I'm like, if it goes both ways, then why aren't men marching? Why aren't men protesting? Why aren't men trying to get protections from women? If it goes both ways, if women are just as violent as men, then why we're not going to do anything to protect ourselves? We're just going to allow it to happen? Oh, it actually doesn't go both ways. Men are fucking monsters. Oh, okay. Got it. This is the systematic abuse that women suffer. Right? Because it's it's like interpersonal. So the men are just doing it on their own. They don't have to do this. It's not like they got direct marching orders from somebody to do any of this stuff, but it is a culture that is created by men, fostered by men, and then perpetuated by men. And so it is up to men to address it. I fully understand the women standing up and all of that stuff, and they need to do that, and they're doing it, and man, women might save us. Women might save us. They just might save us from destruction. They just might save humanity from destruction. I'm holding out hope. There's a slim chance that women will save us. Men aren't going to do it, but there's a slim chance that women doing these things in mass, because women can shut down the whole system. Men can too. Don't get me wrong. Men and women can, but women have the power to shut down the whole system. They do. Women truly have the power to shut down the whole system, and they've done it. They're doing it now. They did it in the Scandinavian countries. Yeah, they sure have the power to shut down any of this stuff. Not spending money, not producing money, and not spending money, not producing for the system, not doing any work, things of that nature. Yeah, peaceful. They can do it. But they have to do it en masse, and they are. That's the thing. They are doing it en masse. That's the thing. That's the thing. That's women, just like with normal folk, whatever, working class folk. Our protection is in numbers, not in violence. It's in the numbers. You can't lock us all up. You can't kill us all. You know what I'm saying? They can't do it. So if we all stand up, then whatever. But I didn't know that that's what the purple dot represented. I'm going to change my profile to that. I didn't know that's what it was. I saw people doing it. I didn't really think to inquire about it. My head be in the clouds sometimes. I got a lot of other stuff I got to do. So I'm just coming across this, but I'm definitely in solidarity with all these people, all these women fighting this fight. This is a global fight that we need to be fighting. The femicide rate in America is astronomically high for a developed country. I looked up what it was in South Africa. It is fucking crazy. It is off the charts. It is ridiculous. It is really like mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. It's like 12 women out of every 100,000. It's like something crazy like that. Like in America, it's like 2.5 women out of every 100,000, which is, when I saw it, I was like, damn, 2.5. You look at like Italy is like 1.2. The UK is 1.5, and America is 2.5. You're like, fuck, that's crazy. One is, what I'm saying? One is too many, but damn, you know what I mean? South Africa is like 5 times more than America. That's nuts. I am there. It doesn't go both ways. I don't even want to keep, it doesn't go both ways. But if you look at what women have to fight for, just basic human rights, to not be killed. They have to fight to just not be killed by men on the basis of them being women. They just have to fight for, they're in 2025. That's what they're out here like shutting down the whole government for, shutting down all the work and all that stuff. And also, where the fuck are the men? I hope there are men laying down there. I hope there are men also walking off their jobs. These are your mothers. These are your sisters. These are your neighbors. These are your friends. See what I'm saying? Where are all the good men? You want me to believe that most men are good? Where the fuck are all the men? Just on the strength, this is a working class movement. That's how, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just on that alone, you should be walking off the job as a man. Just on that basis alone, you should be walking off the job as a man. Why not? Fuck yeah, whatever. I don't even know what's going on. Oh, working class people are uniting and walking off the job because they want protections? Oh, I'm walking off the job. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't even care if it directly affects me. I don't give a fuck. That's crazy. We need class consciousness. We need race consciousness. We need gender consciousness. We need people to understand that these motherfuckers at the top don't give a fuck about none of us, and especially women, and especially children. Remember what I was saying? Men don't have to worry about stuff like this. We don't think about being killed by a woman. We're not worried about femicide. Men be talking about, men get killed more than women. Yeah, because we're stupid and we put ourselves in harm's way. I just saw a video, sadly, of a fit of road rage where this man had shot a little boy, right? And the dad, the police pull up. The dad is like crying. He's like, he's dead. He's talking about his son. His son's in the back seat. And then I looked up the story, and the dad was being was the aggressor, not to let the dude off who shot his son, because he didn't try to shoot his son, or should I say, he didn't try to shoot his son, but he did. So I don't care about that. He's an asshole too. He's a dick too. He's a weirdo, whatever you want to say. But the dad with his son in the car was being aggressive towards the man who ended up shooting his son. But here's the thing: where are all the men, coming together to protect our sons and to stop road rage where men are killing other men? You know what I mean? Like, if it's such a problem, then where the fuck are we at? Why aren't we advocating for ourselves? The reason why it is a problem, but the reason why you don't view it the same way is because that man wasn't killed for being a man. He was killed for being a dick. He was killed because he put himself in harm's way, right? Women have to think about like all this stuff. Like, women have to think about all of this stuff every day. how the world is against them. Like the world is literally against women. They don't give a fuck about women. That's why I say the patriarchy benefits every single fucking man. This is a prime example of that.
Reporting a new promise to keep women safer on the road.
We're releasing design specifications for this, the first ever advanced female crash test dummy.
Crash test dummies revolutionized car safety, but never with the female body specifically in mind.
Listen to what they just said. We have been driving cars for well over 100 years. When they started to do safety tests, they made mannequins. They made the crash test dummies with the anatomy of a man. They never made it for the anatomy of a woman. As a man, that is, and I've talked about this a million times, that is a prime example of how every man benefits from the patriarchy, because every fucking man in this country has driven a car or has rode in a car. Like 99.9% of men, right? So if you have driven in a car, if you have driven a car or if you have rode in a car, those vehicles are built with you in mind to protect you, not to protect women. This is shit that men don't have to think about.
With the female body specifically in mind.
Even with airbags, Vince, you still got to remember to buckle your safety belt.
But now the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has a new plan, more than 4 decades in the making. Meet Thor Fifth. Not a very ladylike name, but with more than 150 cutting-edge sensors, it is better equipped, NHTSA says, to measure possible damage in areas including the brain and abdomen, and specifically the legs, where female drivers are at an 80% higher risk for injury than men. NBC News' Julie Sirkin first reported the announcement. She spoke with the NHTSA administrator.
Are car companies required to use this new dummy, or what does that timeline look like?
It's not a legal requirement, but we expect, just based on how the automakers generally react, they will buy this and they'll start using it.
Why wouldn't it be forced? Like more women, if I had to guess, more women are injured or die in car crashes than they do from femicide. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not to compare the two, like, but you know what I mean? Like, one is definitely like fucking mind-blowingly disgusting. But in a way, this is too, because this is just pure negligence. Like, they just don't give a fuck. They're not the ones pulling the trigger. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, granted, these auto manufacturers aren't the ones pulling the trigger, but they also don't give a fuck who does. They're still manufacturing the guns that people are using to pull the trigger, the proverbial trigger. See what I'm saying? So like, when do we as a society, especially in America, because we can't get no solidarity popping off in America because of racism. But when do we as a society coalesce around these marginalized groups of people to protect them? It's fucking crazy. Every time my wife gets in the car, it's wild to watch her drive, like how close she has to be to the steering wheel. I'm like, what the fuck? That's nuts. That's nuts, man. And they're legally not required to have female crash test dummies? Bro, that's crazy.
Federal crash data shows overall road fatalities declining in recent years. But despite that, NHTSA estimates more than 39,000 people lost their lives last year in collisions on the nation's roadways. Maria Weston Kuhn has been working toward this moment ever since she and her mother were in a head-on car crash 6 years ago.
The injuries that we suffered were not unique. In fact, they're among the most common for women to suffer in car crashes.
She started a nonprofit dedicated to car safety for women, something she believed had been all but ignored.
Women make up the majority of licensed drivers. Why are we testing any cars for safety if we're not testing them for the people who drive them the most?
I know y'all didn't know that. I know you motherfuckers didn't know that women actually are licensed to drive more than men. I know you didn't know that. Do you see how disgusting the system is? The people who drive the most are the least protected in the vehicles. Make that shit make sense. That's not disturbing to you? Wow. That really says it all, to be honest with you. It is deliberate. It is very much deliberate.
Safety if we're not testing them for the people who drive them the most.
NHTSA says Thor 5th will now be a critical tool for improving safety.
This gives automakers the tools to understand how crash forces will affect women and to design around those to better protect women.
Oh, so what kind of changes might this lead to?
Well, first of all, Savannah, it may not be incorporated into crash tests until 2027, 2028 by automakers, but we could see changes in things like seatbelts and airbags, and looking at those as possible ways that women are getting hurt more in cars. And then that will change how automakers make cars. And it will also potentially change the regulations that automakers have to follow. But all of that is down the road. But again,
imagine all the women that have to die between now and then. Think about all the women that are going to die and get injured, get fucking devastatingly injured between now and when they implement, if they implement it in 2028, right? That's 3 years from now, whatever, two years and a couple months, 2 years and a couple months when they implement it. Then after that, they have to then address it. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like they're going to have to actually change the vehicles. The vehicles are going to look different. So I'm sure that these are the manufacturers are railing against this because they don't want to have to be obligated to make cars that like fit, that are safe for both men and women. Because that's going to add an expense. That's an added expense. I don't want to hear. I'm done. I'm done, man. I'm done. I don't want to hear it goes both ways. I don't want to hear women are just as violent. I don't want to hear the patriarchy doesn't exist. I don't want to hear that they're good men. I don't want to hear none of that shit. Y'all not loud enough. You're not vocal enough. You're not present enough. You don't care enough. You don't know enough. You're not empathetic enough. I don't care. You're violent. You don't get I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Shit is ridiculous. It's fucking crazy.